The Bostonian is Matt Perrault.
This is our city.
The Book is Dave Sharapan.
Pay him. Pay that man his money.
Together, they are The Bostonian versus The Book.
You covered! You covered 12! I covered!
Follow the show on Twitter at Boston versus The Book.
How do you like them apples?
Bringing you the best insight on sports betting news, Matt and Dave's daily picks, and an entertaining and unfiltered dive into the sports betting industry. Here's Dave Sharapan and Matt Perrault.
And here we go.
What's up, boys and girls? How are you? Welcome into a Whale Watch Wednesday being presented by SportTrade. It is a Wednesday for the Bostonian versus the Book. You have picked a very good day to watch this show. We got a lot to get into. Alex Kane, SportTrade coming out. We got a bunch of bets, picks, and plays to get to with Alex. We got Coach Greg McDermott. NBA draft tonight. He's got 2 players eligible, maybe 1 that will go in the first round coming up here tonight. He is Dave Sharapan. I am Matt Perrault. We are live on our YouTube channel at Boston versus the Book. Same with Twitter X and replayed on Sports Grid TV and Sirius XM channel 159. How are you, my friend? I am excited for the show today.
I'm very, very excited. One, and it sounds like it's me, you, and Ninja. If you hear Ninja in the back, tell Ninja to shut the up. But
I'll fix it. If he keeps barking, I'll fix it.
That's fine. Yeah, we're gonna have to just let that dog go run. And maybe he just will keep running. No, anyhow, I'm not trying to get rid of the dog.
I am.
We got a couple dogs on today. Listen,
I want to.
Listen, they're watching the show. Zip it. You ain't getting rid of the dog yet. Please. We got big Alex Kane on. Big Red. He's coming on. I've been watching the tape all morning. Are you kidding me? They got guys playing matchups, golf. It's Rocket Mortgage Classic week. Who knows what the golf tournament is, but they got liquidity. They got action. We'll talk about that. And then I feel like we're going back in time. We get Greg McDermott on. Coach McDermott from Creighton University. I can't wait to get some dirt. I can't wait to find out what was P-Roll really like. What did you really think, sir? We need to hear about this. So I got a couple questions lined up. We got a couple plays. We got things to talk about. For a Wednesday of vacation week.
Yeah.
Like,
loaded
does
up.
it feel like you're already on vacation?
No, because I got to get through the next 4 days of the hard 30. So every morning I'm waking up and I'm just like, oh boy, here we go. Like it's been a tough couple of days. The body is not happy. The knee is barking. The shoulder hurts.
Oh, knee? Now the knee.
Yeah, I'm 47 years old. I've been doing 2 workouts a day for 26 days straight. Like I'm getting, this is the end of it. This is the final push. But yeah, knee is barking, shoulder is barking. My body's just like, what are you doing? Why are we doing this? So I'm almost done. So no, I'm not on vacation yet until I timed it out perfectly. Last day is my last. I leave and go on vacation. So.
All right. Well, that's good. I mean, I feel like we're kind of on vacation, but we're not because we got a big rest of the week with the UFC coming to town. We got like J Dow's coming. I got the other kid, the kid from Bensonhurst, Yanitzi's coming. He's bringing a whole bachelor party of people. I mean, there's a lot of things happening in Vegas this weekend. So I don't feel like we're on vacation yet. But the reminder that the show is not going on next week.
Right. Yeah. But no one's going to be working anyway because the 4th is Thursday. So Friday is a holiday. The 5th is dead. So then the 3rd is Wednesday. That day's dead. So basically, if you're working next week, you're working Monday, Tuesday. That's it. So like,
I understand, but like people listen to us when they're not working. So
I know, but like
for that hour and a half to
it's just what it is. Like this week is a dead week. Next week is a dead week. The week after that is a dead week.
Is not dead. What do you mean?
It is. It is. I'm telling you. I'm looking around. I'm looking. I don't know our numbers. I'm looking at what's going on. I mean, it's wild. People are already scattering to go on the holiday, and then all of next week, and then the week after, that's dead as well. And then it's college football season. We come back, we're in college football, and all we go.
We got that clip out yesterday about the SEC and the Big Ten, and I got a couple messages from friends. Thank you for reaching out at SportsBK Sig. You can get me on the Twitter and everything else. And he's at Sports Talk Matt, the show at Boston versus the book. They're like, has he ever been to Penn State? I said, no.
Mm-mm.
They said, has he ever been to Ohio State? I said, no.
Mm-mm.
So
I'm okay with it, though. I know people who have multiple times.
I've been strays that like Iowa caught yesterday. The strays that
been there multiple times. Been to Iowa State multiple times. I've been there. I mean, I could tell you right straight, Big Ten type football games. Hard place to play, sure. Not SEC.
Camp Randall, no, he has not been there. I have not been there either, but I've been.
But I have been to Vatech, and I have been to I've seen
Vatech.
Oh, Enter Sandman is something else.
That's great.
Enter Sandman.
They can't keep that energy up the whole game, though.
They can at times, depending on how good they are. When I was there, when Beamer was there, so when Frank Beamer was there, and they were our top 15 football program. Heck yeah! I mean,
boy, they were good. Boy, they were like an automatic play on at home.
Virginia. I was there for UVA Virginia game, and they took them apart like it wasn't even a fair fight. Destroyed them. Just ripped them limb from limb. So there were times when Vatech and Frank Beamer really had that rolling. And I mean, I've seen Florida State when they've been good in the ACC and they were rolling. I mean, it's
that's a different level. That's good.
I tried to go. I don't know if I won't spoil it, but I'm efforting to get a very famous Texas A&M fan to come on the show to talk
Johnny
about
Manziel.
No, not more players. This person's in the media.
Okay.
But trying to get them to come on to justify, because I'm guessing they will defend Kyle Field being the number one place in college football. So I would like to hear their opinion of Kyle Field saying, okay, you think it's number one. You please tell me why it's number one, because I think this is a joke that Kyle Field was ranked number one by EA Sports as the most difficult venue.
Guy on to besmirch his field.
Yes. It's not actually a guy either, so.
Oh, you're going to invite a woman on to besmirch her field.
Correct. Yes. And I'll call them a cult to her face, just in case you're curious. I will say, can you explain the cult?
Are we good with this person? Like, I don't want.
I am. Right. I'm good with this person.
Okay.
So I've known this person for many years. So I'm efforting. I don't know if it fits her schedule or not, but we're trying to see if we can figure this out to get it done.
It doesn't have to be tomorrow or Friday. It can be after.
Correct.
Break.
Yeah.
Just,
but it is easier because it is relevant right now. So
to get
into it. Kinnick Stadium at night is awesome. It is, Roger Nader. It is. Celtics logo, Kinnick Stadium. Interesting twist there, Roger Nader.
Wow.
There's a curveball for you.
Wow. How about this guy?
As we throw that on there. A reminder, guys, that we are live. We got a very cool email from somebody who is jacked to come on over saying, guys, I need details. I'm coming over. His nickname was Pickles. I don't know who Pickles is.
Pickles is going to come to the show?
Yeah. Do you know Pickles?
Pickles is great. That's awesome.
So Pickles is coming to the Reno show. So
Pickles!
He's like, I need full details. I was like, I don't have full details. I can just tell you that we'll be live from Circa Sports in Reno, 2:30 on Friday, July the 26th. Other than that, I don't know what's going on. What are we doing? Where are we going? How? I don't know. That all is to be determined, to be announced. So, but yes, we will be there Friday, July 26th, Circa Sports, 2:30 Pacific time start time for the show on Friday. That's set. Where exactly are we going to be at Circa? We're still efforting there. I think there's a stage in the book, we've been told, like a small little riser thing that we're going to be set up on. So there's kind of like a line change going for shows. So there'll be a show before us, then our show, and then a show after us.
Jump over the boards and stuff.
Yeah, I think so. So it's just going to be kind of like, different shows, different
time,
different
let's
spaces.
Go, test 1, 2, 3. Here we go.
Let's go. You're in. It's like a tag team fight, when WWE type stuff.
Change.
Yeah. So we'll do that coming up here for that on Friday, July the 26th. So in about 25 minutes, Alex Kane. In about 55 minutes, we will talk to head coach Greg McDermott of Creighton University. So looking forward to those conversations. Well, what happened last night? Well, if you work for ESPN, I think the Knicks just won the championship, because even people who work for ESPN are asking this question. With all due respect to Mikal Bridges, when did we, ESPN, treating this trade like the Knicks acquired a perennial all-star or something? Does he make them better? Seemingly, yes. Does he make them a legit contender to dethrone the Celtics? Absolutely not. Michael Eaves, amen to this. Because if you turned on the worldwide leader today, you would have thought that they just picked up, I don't know, MJ in his prime. It is Mikal Bridges, right? That's who we're talking about, right?
Still, yes. There's not a player to be named later. It's him. But is it exciting because it's all the Villanova guys? Like I retweeted.
That's the only reason why people are talking about it.
I retweeted a guy posted a picture of Jay Wright holding the championship trophy, like walking off the court, and said, "This is the final piece."
And there are people who are making that joke consistently, saying, "Okay, when's Jay Wright coming out of retirement to coach this team?"
Hold on, that's not even real, right?
I don't think it's real, but I do think that there's people who are actually asking that question, saying, would they potentially go if it doesn't work in 1 year? If Tibbs is, I'm going to run you into the ground style doesn't work, you go get Jay Wright, pull him off the broadcast booth and put him on.
That's not going to happen. Who needs to hear this? I don't think so.
I don't know. I mean, it won't work.
Jay wants to go back to coaching and go to the NBA. I think Jay looks great.
He does.
He's always like impeccably dressed and he carries himself so well. He's going to go have to figure out a way to beat the Celtics.
Well,
what?
According to the odds, the trade changes nothing because they're 10-1. It bumped up a little bit. 10-1 is the same price that the Bucks are at. So it's the Celtics 3-1,
15-1 in a lot of places.
Okay, so it bumped them up a little bit.
So,
but they're still the third team.
Didn't bump anything up.
Well, I go by the order as to where they are in the rankings. They're now like the 5th or 6th option, tied with the Bucks.
Second best team in the East.
Correct. Yeah.
Now it's clear that they're the second best team in the East.
No, the Bucks are still right there, tied with them,
along with the Bucks.
Yeah.
But they were down below the Sixers in some places. They were down below the Bucks in some places. They were 4th, pretty clear, or 3rd in places. They moved their odds, down to make them more likely to win a championship. It wasn't like there was a deluge of money this morning. It came in all over the country on the Knicks to win it all. And if it did, they're trying to pull me back in just when I thought I was out.
Sixers are bye-bye.
Where
bye.
are the Sixers?
Bye.
Hold on. I got to get the dark.
Bye.
What are we talking about? The Sixers have 3 guys on the team.
Where are the Sixers?
Where are the Sixers? They're in Philadelphia, but there's not that many guys on the roster.
There's 2. There's 2 guys on the roster.
And I like the Sixers. I like them.
Yep.
I wanted them to win, but man,
I give props to Embiid, though.
Just I
give props to Embiid and to Randall, who are both on the ESPN desk going pregame into the Celtics, and they both outwardly said, "I hate the Celtics." It was great. I was like, "Good, I hate the Celtics."
You blame them?
No, but I need that though. I don't want Embiid said, "I hate the Celtics." It's great. That's what it should be. I hate everything with Boston. I hate Boston. Great. Give me more of that. Because you can't beat Boston, and Al Horford's coming back. So your daddy is still on the Celtics.
Stop talking about the Celtics.
No,
right
of course
now.
not. We're talking
about the Knicks
and the Celtics and the Sixers and the Bucks, and it's Boston, and then everybody else. They're bringing back my boy Hauser. They're signing Sammy 3. He's coming back.
Because they have to.
My favorite bet of the finals, over 1.5 threes with Sam Hauser. Let's go. I'm in love with it. Guys, keep me abreast of what's happening with Dallas Keuchel on the mound for the Brewers, because I cannot believe that they actually
4-4.
He gave up 4 runs already.
It's 4-4.
Oh my!
How did they refresh? Let's see. Right now it is 4-4, top of 4.
Oh my God, Keuchel he's out in the game. Or out.
Pitched, he is 3 2/3, 7 hits, 4 earned, 4 Ks, 1 walk, and he's given up 2 ding-dongs.
Well, Evaldi gave up a grand slam.
Yes, he did.
So
thank you, Mr. Covey.
Rangers went back-to-back. My gosh, Dallas Keuchel being back. I should have bet the over for the hell of it. I was sitting there going, he was okay at AAA.
What?
He was okay. He was okay at AAA. He may have. I thought he might have fixed something.
AAA is not.
I know. Gave up another one. It's 5-4 Rangers. Another home run. My God.
Oh boy.
That's my bad. The total was 9.5. It was high. 9.5 is high.
Oh, let's see. Closed 8.5, sir.
Oh, did it really?
8.5.
Why?
Yep. Oh, no, Texas, bad. Milwaukee. It looks like line history. 8.5 pretty much standard. I don't know where you saw the 9.5, but Yeah, it was.
I should have bet the over. Yeah, I should have bet the over. That was an easy over. Just went over in the fourth inning.
Yes.
This number
Robbie
is real.
Grossman just homered now.
Yeah, this number is real. The Brooklyn Nets, who traded Mikal Bridges inside the city, inside the division, inside the conference to the Knicks, have 16 first-round picks between now and 2031, but none tonight. They have none tonight, but they have
it's
6.
2024.
Huh?
There's only one first round, right? They didn't add first rounds to the draft.
No, they have 4 picks in the first round next year.
4?
4 in a stacked draft. The 2025 draft is stacked. There's a lot of good players in the 25 draft, and they have 4 first-round picks next year.
Wow.
Yeah, the Nets control the future of the NBA draft after this year. The Nets control every one of them. They have multiple first-round picks, and next year they have 4.
Wow. That's excessive.
Yes, it is. That's excessive.
But in your opinion, does that result in a quick turnaround, or is it just like we're going to draft them and then we still have to figure out how to play? Like, expectations are you have 4 first-round draft choices. We draft a stud group of guys, put them together with a couple vets, and boom, we're going to the playoffs. We're in the second round. Right? No?
Oh, no. They're going to suck for years. I mean, Boston just did it. I mean, Boston just showed you how long you have to wait to hit on a superstar. It's really not easy to do.
Philadelphia's still waiting.
Building through the draft is not easy to do. It takes a long time in the NBA, to build the draft. You can do it, but you have to have a very patient fan base, a patient owner, and you may go through 1 or 2 coaches like the Celtics did. I mean,
do the Nets have
3
either or, patient fans or patient owner?
No.
I think
it's the NBA too. It's New York.
I mean, let's just be honest. I don't know how many Brooklyn Nets fans there are.
True. That's the other problem, right? It's so they tried to do it 2 times. The first iteration was Paul Pierce, Kevin Garnett. That didn't work. Tried to do it with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. That didn't work. So they've tried the superstar rank, right? They've tried to go 2 times with big name, high priced free agent and trades and acquisitions. It did not work either time. So now it's burn it to the ground, and they may give up Cam Johnson tonight for a first-round pick. They might get a first-round pick tonight. They may not be done. So they're shopping Cam Johnson pretty aggressively right now to get a pick tonight. So they may find a suitor for him tonight.
Talking before the show, and I think we've heard people talk about it. I definitely have not talked about it, the NBA draft tonight. It's not exactly a stacked draft. There hasn't been. There it is right there. We set it in the graphics. So if you're watching the show, again, thank you for being here. Hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. There has been 0 buzz. Why would they trade him tonight for a pick tonight?
Because they want a pick tonight. They want a first-round pick tonight. They don't have one. So they're shopping Cam Johnson for a first-round pick, late first-round pick, but he's a legitimate NBA player. Like, he's a legitimate. Like, if you're a team picking between 27 and 30 tonight, who do you want? A rookie or Cam Johnson? Chances are you take Cam Johnson. He's a proven commodity NBA talent. Like, you have a guy. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to find somebody to take it, but they're going to be horrific next year. Nets are going to be absolutely awful next year. Worst team in the NBA by 4.
Ask the boys and girls here in the chat just to prove people are actually watching and they participate in the show. Give them a poll. Are you going to watch the NBA draft tonight?
Oh, God.
Yes or no?
That's a 0.
What do you mean it's a 0? We got hoop heads in here. They'll say yes.
I don't know. I think that's going to be a resounding 80% no.
Resounding 80% no?
Why are you? There's absolutely no interest. I mean, if you try to
tell me, see when Bronny gets drafted. No,
it's tomorrow. It's not tonight. That's tomorrow. Remember, they broke this thing up. Yes, I agree. Hell to the no.
Oh, Eron Sean, that's a little. I mean, you went over the top there with that hell to the no.
Yeah, I think people will look at what their team drafted. It's one player for most teams, and let's see what he gets drafted at. And did I get a steal? Did they make a trade? Like, the NBA draft is so difficult because of this. There's so many of these teams are going to draft and stash guys where they're going to keep them overseas. Like, I think this is. I'd rather watch grass grow.
Watch grass grow.
No, minus 50,000.
Good number, SoCal DJ. My favorite thing about today is about
Peace out. I can't help you, my friend. I can't help you. The wife might get woken up.
Don't wake the wife up.
Sorry, man. You may get it. Extra warning would be great for the stinger. Dave doesn't want me warning anybody.
Oh, well, I mean, we might be able to warn it, but it might go off twice. I can't warn you for both times.
I'm asking my wife for a honey-to list to do it instead.
That is a statement, Whitrock. I'm asking my wife for a honey-do list instead of watching the draft. Wow.
Yeah, it's not.
Anybody
it's just not,
vote yes? Wow.
I told you it's going to be 80%, 81%, 80% no. Like people aren't watching this tonight.
No,
like,
it's just is actually the leader. 79% right now with all the votes compiling in. Thank you guys for voting.
I am curious too about where Zack Edey goes tonight. I think it will be an indication on Ryan Kalkbrenner for Creighton, who is back for the Jays, and we'll talk to Coach Mack about that. That's why he's going back, because Edey is in this draft. So I think Kalkbrenner's the opinion he got was like, look, Edey's in the draft. You can't be in the draft. You guys are very similar players, so you both can't be there. So he went back to school for an extra year, work on the jump shot, hit more outside jump shots, work on the three-pointer all summer, go back. And we'll talk to Coach Mack about what Ryan needs to develop this offseason. But I mean, he's going to be one of the best players in college basketball, if not the best defensive player in college basketball. So where Edey gets picked will be a good indication, or at least a measuring stick for where Ryan Kalkbrenner could go next year in next year's draft. So, but I am curious as to where Zack Edey is going to get drafted. If he gets drafted, everyone says he's going to. Everyone says top 15.
Zack Edey is a question whether he gets drafted
in the first round. Yeah. I want to know where. I mean, he's a 7'3" back to the basket defensive player. Like he's not.
You can't find a place for him on an NBA team.
No. I mean, he won't find his way on the floor. Not in today's NBA. No, I don't see him. He wouldn't play for the Celtics. He wouldn't play for the Pacers. He wouldn't play for the Mavericks. He wouldn't play for the Nuggets. He wouldn't play for any team that has wing heavy players that want to run and go up and down.
Isn't he a rim protector?
He is, but he's slow. He's not fast. He's a lumbering 7'3".
Run fast. I'm asking him to block shots and get rebounds. That's it.
Yeah, but can he get back? Can he get back in time to get into position? Like he's a big lumbering guy for the NBA. That's a problem. So
one of our wrenches, Sonic, just came in the chat and said, "Oh, geez, I am listening. Didn't even realize the draft is tonight until I saw the screen."
Because they're not really pushing it. And I wouldn't either. I mean, ESPN's not really all over the draft coverage because, like, what's the point? I mean, LeBron James's son is in the draft tomorrow, not tonight.
Hoopheads, put in where you think Edey gets drafted. Akbar, my guy, Saloev, just said that he thinks Portland number 7.
Maybe.
Wow.
I mean, he's projected, I think his over-under is 13.5 or something like that.
Put Edey and Wemby on the floor at the same time in San Antonio, AOWN? Now, that would be impossible.
No, Wemby wants to run. The thing what makes Wemby and Kristaps Porzingis so difficult is they're 7'3" and they can run.
Yeah, and shoot
They're the same height as Edey. Like this 7'3" stuff is not like an anomaly anymore. Like there are a lot of guys in the league that are like 7'3". Now Wemby's 7'6", but there's a lot of guys who are over 7 foot tall who can play on the wing. Forget on the block. They can play on the wing. So that's the problem for Edey. It's a problem for Kalkbrenner. It's a problem for players that just aren't their old school NBA centers. That position doesn't really exist anymore.
I mean, it might have to combat what's going on in the league. You could change your style of play and go back to that a little bit, and then just surround 3 shooters with a point guard and a big center, protect the rim, make sure the only way to get beat is for them to hit threes. I don't know. I mean, I just thinking like, how do you attack? If you were to attack the Celtics, would it be like, let's get a big man in here?
No, you gotta fight fire with fire. You're going to shoot 2s. They're shooting 3s. This is why the Boston Celtics are so tough to play. They literally say, we're going to shoot 35% from 3. You can shoot 40% from 2. We win.
3 is more than 2. Very good. It always has been.
So, and Donovan Clean will get picked high tonight. You're right, CBW. That's the one interesting piece to this. He is not a shooter, but he can run. He is a better athlete than Edey is. So him being in the draft hurts Edey. It pushes Edey down. It's why he won't, in my mind, I don't think he goes in the top 10. Maybe he goes top 20, but I could see Zack Edey falling here tonight into the 20s. And then the question is, does he get picked in the first round?
Mikey Awesome, one of our wrenches, says, why wasn't held to the no an option for the poll? Wow, people really just not.
We're at 79% of the no, saying no. So 80% in range for people not to watch the NBA draft here tonight. Right. You know, we'll see how that all plays out. Garrett Cole back for a second start last night against the Mets. Gets rocked by the Mets. 4 home runs given up to the Mets and a 9-7 win for the New York Mets. If you're a Yankee fan, are you a bit concerned here?
Nah. Second start go against automatic for me. I loved the Mets yesterday. By the time I got on SportTrade, I wore all the Mets stuff. In fact, I asked Rossi to come on the show. He came on the show there. I asked him to come on here tomorrow so you two could nerd out on UFC. And he was unavailable Thursday, so I'm going to try to get him
Friday.
Maybe Friday. We'll see. Yeah. Apparently, a lot of people are coming to talk about this fight weekend. They had already made plans, and
they're
still coming.
And they thought it was going to be a big deal, and then
they really, like it was. I felt bummed out on the text, but
air being let out of the balloon.
He was so excited about the Mets, like he came on talking about the Mets, like this is the Subway Series. He said still has buzz, and now it has buzz again for the Mets.
Yeah,
because they got their. You know, they had a big night last night.
Well, it was cool because Peterson got in trouble at the top on top of the first, gave up bases loaded, and he pitched it. He got out of it. And when he got out of it, the building was like, I was like, it was cool. Up. Yeah, it was like a really big moment. And like he came off the mound, pumping his fist. He struck out. I forget who he struck out to end the inning.
Loaded the bases and then struck out the side.
Yeah, it was really outside corner. Awesome pitch. Froze the batter. I forget who the righty-handed hitter was for the Yankees who got frozen, but it was a huge keg, big moment and a really fun moment in the game that really helped propel that Mets team into the win at 9-7 last night for them against the Mets. Same two teams
got it. 4 home runs.
Yeah.
Cole gave up 4 home runs. I mean, sometimes when he misses and it's like that, it goes out of the park. I mean, he's throwing hard. He looks healthy.
Right.
That's the only concern right now for the Yankees is make sure he's good. And I think they'll get it worked out. Like that's like a horse. I mean, you just got to let him run. He's got to get back and get reps and start to get the movement on his ball and all that other stuff.
For location and whatnot.
Fun win for the Mets, though.
Big win for the Mets. All right, Ohtani watch. Another home run for Ohtani. The Dodgers do not get over their team total yesterday, but they win the game 4-3. He is now 1 game shy of tying a record or a major league best. Bobby Abreu in the last 30 years did it with 10 games in a row. RBI, 1 extra base hit, and 1 run scored every game, 9 straight. 9 straight.
Nothing makes sense.
I mean, what he's doing is absolutely and completely incredible. He's potentially going to do this. Ohtani, torrid stretch. If he gets an RBI tonight, he will do something that no Dodger has done in the last 70 years, which would be an RBI in 10 straight games.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin. I mean, every day we were ahead of it with this Ohtani watch. We have a stinger. Thank you very much, Sonic, for help with the stinger. We talk about him every day, running out of superlatives. And to think about that he pitched, the argument came up yesterday, the discussion. We might have to tap him on the shoulder and say, you know what? Let's just hit. What you're doing is worthy of historical numbers. You make a daily difference every day. I don't know if we need you really to do the other stuff. I don't know. I think it's a fair discussion, don't you?
100%. Given what he's doing, if he has an historic year at the plate, which is very possible for him to have a year at the plate that, no Dodger hitter has ever had, I think you could make the case. You can say, Ohtani, look you are a generational talent at the plate. We can't afford to have you hit. Like, we don't need to have you hit. Pitch rather. We need you to hit. So Ohtani, 9 straight games with at least 1 RBI is tied for the longest single season streak by a Dodger since the RBI became an official stat in 1920. Talking about 1955 Roy Campanella type stuff here. was the last time this happened.
We got guys in the chat. I see you, John Serret. I see you, Roger Long. They probably saw Roy Campanella play. Not that that's a bad thing, but that's how long ago it was. Like, it's a long time what he's doing. Ask the chat, because the 80-20 is it's 78% to 22%. Nobody's watching a draft. That's a bad question on my part.
No one's watching the draft.
Nobody's watching a draft. Fair enough. Like, that it is what it is. Should Ohtani pitch ever again? Yes or no?
Oh.
I want to see what the baseball heads think. Because I think there's a legitimate argument for I don't even want to stand in right field.
I mean, look,
he doesn't have to.
He's batting .320 with 24 homers, 60 RBIs, and 16 stolen bases.
Wait, say that again? He's batting .320 with what?
24 home runs, 60 RBIs.
And how many steals?
16? And no. Hold on. Where's that stat? And 16 stolen bases. 320, 24, 60, and 16 stolen bases.
It's June 26th.
Yep, we're not at the All-Star break yet.
Essentially double those numbers.
If he does, it's 51, 20, and 30. He'll have a year about 320. And my point would be, if he wins the Triple Crown, which is possible and it's in range, if he wins the NL Triple Crown, I think that answers your question as to whether or not Ohtani should be pitching ever again. Because you couple that with what Yahoo Sports reported this morning. This is crazy. So keep this in mind. Ohtani's got batting .320, 24 home runs, 60 RBIs. Okay. Extremely productive numbers. Yahoo Sports, a big breakdown this morning about baseball offense and how down baseball's offense is.
Oh.
The average batting average right now in Major League Baseball is .242. That's the third worst since 1901.
At this point in the season.
Yep.
242 is the average?
1968 was the second worst season for Major League Baseball overall batting average. They lowered the mound after that.
Yeah, they did.
That's how bad it was for baseball. They went, we got a big problem here, guys. Pitchers are dominating. We've got to drop the mound. So this is a real big problem for Major League Baseball. Teams are hitting just 1.06 home runs per game. That's the lowest since 2015. They have the fewest doubles per game, 1.58 since 1992. And you might go, well, why in the hell is this happening, Matt? Why? This stat is incredible. The batting average for balls put in play is 288. That's the lowest since 1992.
And there's no shift. They can't blame the shift.
Can't blame the shift. This is advanced metrics. This is pitchers knowing what every hitter can do. And this is hitters not adjusting to what the pitchers are doing to them at the plate. It's a remarkable thing to read and look at this and go, wow, defense in pitching is so much more either studied, practiced, focused on, whatever it might be. But the advanced metrics are leaps and bounds above hitting in Major League Baseball right now.
I also think starters were everything. And now starting pitching hands it off to bullpen guys. Every guy in the bullpen throws 100.
Yep.
And if he doesn't, he throws this filth, slurve, sweeper, whatever these people are calling it. It's breaking pitch that's got more spin and is nasty, so almost impossible to hit. Every guy used to be able to, and it still is occasional. You get the bullpens in the 6th or the 7th inning. Starter goes 5. The bridge is a little bit weak. And then the 8 setup guy to 9 closer, lights out. But now the 3rd and 4th starters are gas and filth. It's very hard. You had days where it was like, well, we got to win today. We got to win 9-8. Those are so few and far between. I don't know, man. This makes what Ohtani's doing even more impressive, does it not?
100%. It makes it more impressive. Additionally, I'm very concerned about the balls being played with. Sorry for that pun. The I said on purpose. That was on purpose. After the All-Star break.
Hold on. Who's playing with the balls?
Major League Baseball.
Major League Baseball is playing with their balls.
Not with their ball, but yes, the actual balls being in play. Yes. Major League Baseball official balls are going to get played with because this is what they do. They juice them. When baseball has a monster, awful, horrific start to the offense, we have seen this. It's been documented. The Super Bowl has become part of Major League Baseball. So if we see, when we get to the middle of July, if we see that graphic go right up high,
what's the we have audio now?
Yes. Yes.
Talking about playing with balls, and then you go,
Yep.
I don't even know how to make that go together.
It's one of those things.
We'll see it. The All-Star games in Texas.
Yep.
The home run derby. We're gonna, somebody gonna shoot out 50.
Well, of course, because they are allowed to be. Those baseballs are documented as being ridiculous. Like they're not Major League Baseball like in play game balls.
Right.
Those are just like, let's put a show and watch the thing fly. Like it's like almost like with hitting off of with a metal bat. These are flying. But this is concerning.
Is there a concern with the bats? Have the bats changed? Can the bats be put to the test of
the players aren't juiced anymore. Okay. The players all swing for the fences. They don't move runners. Like I've talked about this with Alex Cora. It drives me crazy with the Red Sox, but they don't bunt runners over. Like basic baseball plays, if it's a fifth inning, it's a 3-2 game. The starting pitcher is tiring. Alex Cora will never bunt a guy over to play for a single run. He plays for the big inning every single time. And I'm like, I get the point, but like baseball sometimes take the run, like runner on second, bunt him over, sack fly, score the run. Just start to build the score, start to score more. And it feels like every single manager is like, let's wait for the 5-run inning. It's there. Let's not give up an out. It'll be there.
There used to be a mix of that, and you took your shot when it was 3, 4, 5 coming up, and you said, all right, we will play for the big inning. But if it's 7, 8, 9, and you get 2 guys on and you bunt and then flip the order over. I mean, it was just basic stuff that we all knew from playing baseball as kids that isn't executed nearly as much because the analytics say that, you should play for the big inning. Well, as a result of playing for the big inning, scoring is down, hitting is down, and it's not working.
No. I mean, fewest doubles since 1992.
How do you explain that?
It's the defense. Guys can't hit the ball to the gap anymore.
Well, they're not trying to. They're trying to hit it over the wall.
That too, right. But it's also the defensive metrics. In this article from Yahoo Sports today, it's really interesting. Talks about the defensive metrics and just how athletic. Like, look at the center fielders in baseball. Look at these guys who can go gap to gap. It's hard to get a ball by these guys. They're so fast.
Very fast and athletic guys playing the outfield.
There's some really good guys who are out there that can move fast and pick up fast off the bat. They see the ball, they jump it because they've been conditioned to go, okay, this pitch is coming in here in this moment. This is the pitch. I'm going to lean towards this spot. Okay, the ball is there. I'm going to go and run it down and make this play. It's hard to get doubles. It's hard to get to the gap. So this number, the batting average for balls in play is dramatic. 288, lowest since 1992 so far in baseball for balls being put in play on Major League Baseball. So something to watch. We ready to do a little whale watching, Dave?
Oh, I think so.
We're gonna go have some whale watching. Let's get to our guy Alex Kane.
Let me get
from
my hat.
SportTrade here on
I have a
the Bostonian versus the book
hat.
Yes, you do.
Yes,
Drop
sir.
on the SportTrade. Alex, Matt, and Dave, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. Is my audio coming through okay?
Perfectly.
Oh, sounds fantastic.
Wonderful. I'll tell you, Matt, you look fantastic in that hat. Dave, we got to make a special BVB SportTrade collab hat so that it can be the flat brim. Maybe it's like the BVB on the front and a whale on the side or something like that.
That's a great idea. We'll get the colors. We'll get the color match, the SportTrade, the whole thing. But yeah, I got a couple. I mean, look, I'm wearing it out and about around town, Alex. So people are asking.
I got to say though, Dave, you with a dad hat is an odd look. You don't wear dad hats very often. That's my look. That's
this is a strange look for Dave.
Yeah, I know.
So we're gonna look for Sherapan.
Matt's watching, Lee's watching. We're going to cook something up and it's going to be perfect. So it'll have the BVB on the front, like a little whale patch on the side. You know what I'm saying? Like something like that.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, we've done a pretty good job with that now. We actually have figured out some cool things with how to put it on the side. So we've actually,
we can do a bunch of things, Alex. Whatever you guys dream up. I got a hat guy. We'll make it work.
Jade, I was ready to buy it, so take my money. So we got people who are willing to be a part of Well Watch Wednesdays. My first question to you, Alex, today is I love when we go and take a look at some of these future markets and what we're doing. This is from today, or these are two baseball futures that got placed today by you guys. And this is why the tape is so amazing, because you can see this stuff. Somebody bet $19,680 on the Royals not to win the World Series. Sorry, JC from KC. To win $313. And then somebody bet $7,486 to win $111. These are tickets that are going to cash in October, Alex. What is going on?
So people, I think it's great you're showing those side by side, because when you look at it in a silo, you're like, what was this person doing? One of the cool things we do, and we talked about this on a prior show, is when a player starts to bet no on multiple things, like you're seeing here, Cardinals and Royals. If you think about it, the Cardinals and the Royals both can't win the World Series. The Cardinals could face the Royals, right? They're in different divisions, but one of them has to lose. And so what we'll do for our players is we'll credit them back as if one of those bets wins. In fact, the bet that's worse for them and better for SportTrade. In that, you could start to bet no on the first team, so the Royals. So that costs you $19,000 and change. But then as soon as you bet no on the Cardinals, your count balance goes up. And so that's something we offer to our like higher VIP customers. And we've seen it in this. We've seen it in the golf. We've saw it a bunch in the NHL coming into Game 7. So it's definitely a unique thing. And I think what we'll see next is we're going to introduce top 10s for golf, where it becomes a bit more feasible to bet no on somebody, because we just had a guy bet $50,000 on Robert McIntyre not to win at like minus 5,600. When you think about his not top 10 price, that's going to be something more like minus 400, minus 500, because it's so much more likely that he gets in the top 10. So hopefully we'll bring some more markets that are all yes, no, and you won't have to lay as much. But yes, we do have some customers that absolutely love this, and they'll pick their 9, 10, 11 teams, all banking that none of them win. It's kind of like the reverse parlay. Like you're basically saying no and no and no and no, and you only win if they all end up in a no.
It's perfect. We'll get to the golf in a second. I love getting tagged by the SportTrade account on the socials at X or Twitter, or whatever we're calling it now. I'm still calling it Twitter. But like I saw the Stanley Cup, Game 7. That looked like that might have been a pretty fun day at the office, because did I see this right? Like at one point you were like at minus 105 and minus 102. Like the margin was so slim. What the hell were you guys doing on Monday night?
We were trying to cook up some volume, and I think we're working with the trading teams that we have that are so aggressive on price. What was cool is like they're sort of shifting around throughout the day. Everyone knows that game was sort of 50-50 all day. But when you have a spread so tight, it can still fluctuate a little bit. So we were offering, minus 102, minus 104, and somebody will take $5,000 on the Panthers minus 02, and then it would flip. So they would go to minus 104 and the Oilers would move to minus 102. And then we would see a $5,000 bet the other way. And so we were pretty confident knowing what the price is. And it was so cool coming into game time. Big bets, $2,000, $3,000, $5,000, $10,000 bets on both sides was like really cool to see.
Dave mentioned the golf. Rocket Mortgage starts tomorrow. You have a couple of plays. These are just a couple of samples here. You guys this is awesome. You guys should absolutely follow SportTrade now on Twitter X, because you get to see these things, and it's awesome for the tape. Tom Kim under 68.5. A player $3,675 to potentially come back and win $3,748.50. And then you got a $4,275 bet on Maverick McNeely under 69.5 in the first round to potentially win $3,160.50 as well on that. These are more bets that people are attacking. How has the golf gone? How has the betting for the Rocket Mortgage played out so far?
What's interesting is there doesn't seem to be like Masters was really special for us, but the Rocket Mortgage volume is going to end up being very close to what the US Open volume was. And the idea is use something like the US Open to bring customers in, but then we tell them like, hey, this isn't a promo. The fact we're offering 12-cent lines on matchups or 15 to 20-cent lines on round over unders or huge limits and insane prices on outrights, you can expect it week to week. And so it's cool for us to deliver on that promise where I think we have 20, 25 matchups out there right now. As I mentioned, we're going to be adding top 10 next week, which should be really tight on the yes, no, and great limits as well. And we're seeing, interestingly, more over-under action predominantly on the under today across every golfer. And this is, Dave, you probably remember these days, you set a price and everybody takes the under and you slide the market and then everyone takes the under again and you're like, oh my gosh.
And you go,
what am I doing? What is going on?
When they
like,
bet
where's the bottom
number, then you go, okay, what did we do here? What are we missing? It's always a question. I got to ask you, Sunday was crazy. And I'm going to be full disclosure. I get up and look at the tape, especially on Sunday. Like I want to see what's going on because you have all the information 3 rounds in and Sunday comes and Scheffler's the favorite at all these places and all this other. Scotty Scheffler just making golf betting almost impossible on other guys. But Tom Kim got to the end in a playoff. You guys had a pretty good position on that. What was that like watching that on Sunday?
Yeah, that was cool. Like someone this got picked up by
everyone.
VR betting Action Network.
Everyone.
Which was cool. Ben Fox, I know you guys know him. He's an awesome guy. So yeah, someone bet 74-ish K, 73.7K to win like $1,200 that Tom Kim doesn't win. And Tom Kim shoots 62 on his birthday. Happy birthday. You're up by 4. Can you imagine? And we were sort of tracking, like, what is this bet worth for this player? And, immediately after round 1, the bet's worth $45,000. So you're already taking a $30,000 haircut just right off the bat. To sweat that thing out, we took a lot of action on like Scheffler no Saturday morning, which was interesting. So coming into that, the decision was more like you're just hoping the guy doesn't lose $74,000, right? But of course, players are betting multiple no's, so people sort of see and attach to that one bet and avoid, and maybe didn't notice. Well, they had Tony Finau no, maybe the player had a bunch of other no's across the Xander Schauffele no,
right?
These sort of bets. So that was cool to see, and it was interesting to see how many whale tracker followers we pick up. I never knew that like these people doing the betting no and laying 99 to win $1 were going to be so popular with folks, but I think it gives folks something to root for. And we saw actually a lot of players come in and buy Tom Kim and take the other side because they're like, you know what, screw it. I want to win if the book wins. So that's what SportTrade allows you to do, right? You can take both sides.
In terms of the tape and in terms of what you guys have seen, we're having a bunch of people ask, can they look at the tape? I know you guys aren't legal in every single state, obviously, but the tape is legal, right? Anybody can go and download this right now on their iOS and watch the tape and watch what you guys are putting up for numbers, right?
Absolutely. Available to anyone. Don't even need to have an account. All you have to do is download the app. And for me, it's always interesting because one of the big things we got going right now is we are working on a huge football season. We have a vision. We want to get to, what we're starting to see for MLB money lines and MLB totals. We're starting to see -104 for 5K. And I think that's starting to give us a hope and a sense that with the trading teams we're working with, can we get to, -104 for 10K, 20K, 30K on those main lines on game day for every single week, every single football game in, game out. That's what we want to try to build. Like we want to be the place where even if you're not a customer of SportTrade, you can sort of see where the sharps are picking away at, and they're always going to come to the place that has the best price first, all else being equal. It's not always the case, but it's predominantly the case. So if you're out there and you're in Wisconsin, you're in Michigan, you're in Pennsylvania, you're in Illinois, you're not in a state where SportTrade's live yet, it still brings you a lot of insight, especially in these more esoteric things like golf round over-unders, where there might be still some value after sharps pick off on SportTrade before all these other markets move. And I think we mentioned, I was watching your show 2 days ago, and one of the players said that they tailed like 7 bets and 4 out of the 7 hit, or they tailed 6 bets. And so, yeah, you can do that side as well. And you could say, you know what, if I am a user, I'm going to go ahead and tail it directly on the tape. And we make that super easy. You just swipe over, enter your $50, boom, you're in. And cool thing about this, guess what is on the tape now, Dave? Boom, your $50 bet. It's a real live thing that, we don't hide anything. So
It's
yeah,
the
that's
coolest thing.
the story.
The transparency is everything. And I think it's going to change a lot of people's perceptions. It's going to change. I mean, Schutz wrote a great article yesterday about transparency in gaming and all these other things. You're bringing transparency to the market with the option to tail it, but you also have the option to go against it. You see it and you can use the information. I think that has as much value as actually betting it, where you can just decide for yourself, right? You're not forcing anybody to do anything. You're just trying to get to the number with the best price possible. That's what you're doing every day, right?
Exactly. We've had some players that are admittedly more advanced sports bettors, and they're like, hey, I open up the tape, and maybe sports betting guy, you're out there, you're listening, because I'm talking about you. He'll open the tape and he'll see, wow, $2,000 are being bet on Al Horford over 1.5 blocks. Another $1,500 on, PJ Washington under 2.5 threes. He immediately knows that that's got to be an ARB. And he's now smart enough to figure out probably what other site. Is it Caesars? Is it FanDuel? Is it DraftKings? Is it MGM? Is it Fanatics that has the other side of that ARB because he's been doing it? And so for him, he takes an interesting value out of the tape, which is he wants to make sure he's not missing any ARBs. And when he starts to see bets that look a bit abnormal, he's immediately thinking, okay, did someone actually just put $2,216? Because again, with SportTrade, if you're ARBing, you don't need to mask your bet size. You can just put the exact amount in because we're never going to limit you or ban you. And so that's a clue to other players of, wait a minute, why would someone bet 2216.83? Why would they bet exactly that amount? That must be an ARB. And so that ticks players off to saying, okay, that's an ARB. Let me go find the other side. So yeah, there's just so much value in the tape. And we probably haven't even thought about the other iterations of how players are going to use it. What is coming next on the tape is search. So you'll be able to say what's happening in golf and type in golf. You can type in a sport, you can type in a game, or you can start to filter by the bet size. So you say, hey, I only want to see whale trades, 3,000 or plus. I only want to see bets between this range. You're going to have that ability to do that as well. And again, that's available to anyone. You don't even need an account.
Last one for me. Let me jump in here real quick. You don't care where the other side of that bet is. That's the beauty of booking it yourself like that. And I tell people this all the time. When I was in the room and doing it, it didn't matter to me what the other guys had. I knew what we had. And if it's an ARB, you just kind of let the cat out of the bag. If it's a weird amount, that means it's probably an ARB. But you don't care what the other price is, right? You're managing your own risk.
Yep. Customers can do what they want. We're working through some gaming applications. We've got some investigators here at the office today, actually, in the great state of Iowa. We were talking about our business model, and they were like, wait, so you don't limit? What do you mean? I'm like, I don't even know how we would do it.
Right.
Tell me how to do it. I don't know how to do it. Like our technology, like if we had to say limit this person, like we can't do. It's like, there's nothing in our technology that allows us to do it.
You would actually have to hire somebody to sit there and actually limit them, manually limit them.
Manually just like ban the player, I guess. So they were like, whoa, that's interesting. And again, our pitch to try to start to come into these new markets, and I love what Schutz is doing and others coming from the bettors angle, is we're saying, look, let us come into these markets and be a viable alternative to unregulated options. There's always going to be unregulated options. Let's come up with a price point where businesses like SportTrade can come in, and regulators have loved this pitch. I mean, they're really learning for the first time about limiting with what Richard's doing, and Spank and others are trying to increase the awareness of that with the Massachusetts Gaming Commission Council Roundtable. It's a new thing. And so when we come along and say, listen, if all those big guys come and limit these players, that's fine. Allow us to come in and keep those players in the regulated market, because they're not going to stop betting because DraftKings or FanDuel, and again, nothing against those businesses, told a player you're down to $5. You think that player is going to stop betting? That's the idea. So we want to be that option that bring them into the regulated market. And the way we do that, to your point, transparency, price, service, consistency, and the best part, like you never we don't even have technology to limit you. So whatever you see, what you see is what you get, as like my dad used to say.
Okay, we'll end it with this. Our friend Jeremy Stein is asking, what are the barriers to new markets? Do laws need to change for exchanges, or is it legal under state law? If it's the latter, is it a capital restraint for you guys to go into new markets?
I think this is my boy Jeremy, the owner of Sports Grid.
It is.
Okay.
Oh, Jeremy.
Yeah.
What's up, brother? We got to do some stuff together. I like this whale watcher live. We need to do more with this. What's the barrier to entry? I think the barrier to entry for most states, we're probably going to be okay. But when you look at, the Illinois, Pennsylvania's, New York, it's really like, look, whether it's SportTrade or Circa or Prime, think of us all as market-based sports books. And because we're a market-based sports book, because we don't rely on the 10%, 15% hold, same game parlay, what Chris Grove called the casinofication of sports betting, because we're not going after that player, we're not interested in that. We have to be really thoughtful about the costs that we have to book these games, what the taxes are, what the fees are. And there's an honesty component. Like at a certain point, yes, we can pass off these worse and worse costs in the form of worse odds to players, but we don't want to do it. Like if someone has to bet into a -112 line, like I'm not interested in being in that business. I'll go do something else. And so those are the states, when we look at those higher tax rates, 30% plus, and those high license fees, it's like, well, we could try to go in those markets and pass off the cost to players, or we can try and find a pathway in that allows like innovators and smaller businesses and entrepreneurs to come in and grow the overall market. So for us, it's less about being an exchange and more being a market-based sort of sports book. And yeah, we're just getting started. We'll be at Nickel G's. I know Spank and Richard Schutz and Sean Fluharty will be there. We're going to start to really up the game and try and get SportTrade into these new markets. That's the one in Pittsburgh, brother. That's your backyard, isn't it?
Yeah, it might be myself. It might be, we might run into each other there.
Very cool. Guys, go and download the tape right now. It's available for iOS devices. Every state is a legal thing. You guys don't have to have it legal in your state for SportTrade to go and download the tape. You can take a look at everything going on at SportTrade, everything we're talking about here, from the big bets coming in, from the little plays coming in, everything is transparent right there with SportTrade. Alex, thank you for this. We appreciate your time today. Looking forward to talking down the line. Happy 4th of July. Thank you for coming on. Really appreciate it.
Likewise, and you boys are looking really good with that swag. Thanks so much.
Working on it.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That Alex Kane from SportTrade joining a Well Watch Wednesday for us here on the Bostonian versus the Book. Good to get him on the program, talking about everything going on with SportTrade. It is interesting, Dave, from kind of a big picture perspective of, like, we talked about Arizona, right? And how Arizona has a bigger top 10 city.
Yep.
But the hold percentage in a state like Arizona, you'd have to think that the books that are making a lot of money in a state like Arizona would not appreciate SportTrade coming in and showing a difference, because they're doing everything on parlays and they're making 9-10%. They're holding that based upon the parlay market, where SportTrade's coming in and saying, well, you can arb and we're cool with you arbing it. Like, do whatever you want. We don't care. Arb it for all you want.
Sometimes when you go out to eat or you have a family reunion and then like the cousin shows up, that it just talks and says stuff, and you're like, man, he shouldn't be at the table. Like, we don't want him over here because he's saying all this stuff that's actually probably true,
right?
But you can't have him there. That's what this might end up being. There might be a divide between sports books where they're going, we can't have that model at our table, and the model, the SportTrade, that model doesn't want to be at the kids' table. They want to be at the adult table because they're doing the business. They're booking the games. And it might lead to there might be a divide in states that go, wait a second, you guys are kicking people out. We're trying to welcome them in. Business for everybody. A rising tide raises all boats. No, it doesn't at our table. Well, yes, it does.
But, I mean, doesn't that show the maturing of the U.S. sports betting market? If people start to ask the right questions and they start to watch and understand what's happening, and they start to, not like parlay playing, and they start to pay attention, like the Mass Gaming Commission, which I guess now is going to happen on August the 1st is when that is now going to be held for the books to come in and have that conversation, because Mass wants it to be open And the books initially said they would. Now they wouldn't. Now they're back to said they would go and sit down and explain why they limit certain players and the practice of limiting players and why they do it. So like that, I wonder, like, if we have the sport trades and we have, the Circa Sports of the world where they're going to be interested in actually booking the games, does the public figure that out? Because again, I've used the Burger King and McDonald's analogy a lot because FanDuel and DraftKings to me is Burger King and McDonald's. There's studies like crazy about the dangers of eating fast food, and people eat fast food all the time. There's dangers of parlaying. People do it all the time.
Right. I honestly don't know if the public cares.
Yeah.
But the health nut cares. The guy that works out cares. And, the family that is worried about what their kids eat, like they care, they know what it is, and they do it sometimes and they lessen it others. I don't know. I don't know if ultimately that's a selling point, but there's a market for it and you can make a business taking that stuff. You can do it. You just choose not to. If you choose not to, like, you can't do what they're doing halfway.
Right. Okay.
You staff, you get people that understand the business, you pay them well, and you say, we're going to book the games. Or you get a massive staff and you just don't let those players play. You let them go somewhere else and you welcome other players. I think you have to kind of pick. And right now, they haven't had to pick. And what they're picking is going, yep, we don't want that action.
Right.
We're going to do this. So it's interesting.
Right.
The whole thing's just an interesting discussion.
Are we ready for this?
Are you ready for this? This is your life. This is, we get this. The coach is here.
So our next
I wore a
guest
Blue Jays. All I have is Toronto Blue Jays. It's the wrong Blue Jay.
So according to Steve Lutz, who is the new head coach of Oklahoma State, our next guest is the second coming of Jesus Christ. Because that's what he said to me.
That on this show. Not even BS.
Said, I treat this person with the respect that he deserves. He is the head coach of the Creighton men's basketball program, Coach Greg McDermott, joining us here on BVB. Coach, back, how are you? Welcome to the show.
It sounds like to me when you talked to Lutz, he was coming off a late night on the strip to me.
Coach, he was actually sitting in a car in between stops of a recruiting trip.
Yeah.
So I don't know what condition we got him in, but he 100% said that. Can you confirm or deny what he said?
Yeah. Matt knows better. Matt's known me a long time.
So, Coach, you guys are coming back to Vegas for a third straight year. This is going to be fun, and you're playing, well, the man who you replaced at Creighton. It's Oregon versus the Jays here on November the 26th. It's your third straight trip out here to the desert. Do you guys just love Vegas? You guys keep on coming back? You're coming to see me.
No, I don't love it. I haven't won a game there in 2 years. So how do you think I feel about it? But I also I'm smart enough to know where the cash is. So, it'll be a great tournament. I think it's a great concept. And obviously, our game against Oregon in the NCAA tournament was one of the better games in the tournament. So to run that back, I think it'll be a lot of fun.
Is it a hard trip for you, Coach, as far as like the kids and Vegas and the distract, or is it just another business trip?
I think it's another business trip. I think our guys have done enough of them. They go to Madison Square Garden for the Big East tournament every year, and everything that surrounds New York City during the Big East tournament is pretty incredible. I think they understand it. We make sure they have a little bit of fun, and we do some things that they enjoy. But at the end of the day, they know that we're there to win some games, and those non-conference games are so important once Selection Sunday rolls around.
Now, this is a new concept. This is $1 million available in NIL for players outside the tournament when they come here to Las Vegas. What is this like? What is this tournament? What are your expectations for the tournament? Because the players are coming to play, but they're also coming here because it's a business opportunity for them.
Yeah, I mean, it's new. This is the first year, so I don't think anybody really knows for sure. And I think more details will become available as time goes on. But we're concerned about the basketball part of it. We'll figure out the NIL parts, and I think all the teams will be involved in the community in Las Vegas during the week in some capacity, to make the NIL piece work. But it sounds like they're trying to do something that hasn't been done before. I think they want to have music, they want to have fun, and they want it to be a festival, not just a tournament. And it'll be fun to be part of it the first time.
How fast is this landscape all changing for you? You've been involved in this game and business so long and everything else. It feels like you've seen and done so much, and it feels from the outside that this is changing so fast. Is it light speed to you, or you got this we'll just figure it out?
I mean, I think we've settled in a little. The 3 years ago, immediate eligibility in the transfer portal in itself would have been a monumental change to what we do and how our sport operates. NIL by itself would have been huge and a change into how we operate. Now you put both of them on top of each other at the same time, you've created free agency without contracts, and that's what it is. And it's it's becoming more difficult to build a program. You're basically the rules are dictating that you're going to build a new team every year. And the idea of building a program with staying power and a culture that's strong enough to see that through is more challenging than it's ever been. Now we're trying to buck the trend. We signed some high school guys last year. We're really excited about the 3 guys that we have on campus this year. But the reality of it is you're not rolling out there playing many freshmen anymore. That's just it. Stephon Castle, who's going to be picked probably in the top 5 tonight. He's one of the freshmen that played, but he's pretty good freshman. So it's hard to do it with young teams. We were able to do it 3 years ago with Nemhart and Trey Alexander and Bluma. But that's really difficult right now. Now, when some of these, this is the last year of the COVID year. So, Ryan Kalkbrenner's class is the last group that got an extra year. So you're going to have, 20% filter out besides graduating seniors. So there's 40% of college basketball that's going to be gone. The seniors that graduate and the COVID guys that graduate. So I think there'll be a little bit of a reset. I don't think there'll be quite as many guys in the portal potentially. Now, does that mean the guys in the portal, the prices go up? They basically doubled from last year. So who knows what's what's on the horizon.
Coach, your family got quite the honor. The practice facility that you guys are using at Creighton University has been named after your family. This is an awesome picture of you and your wife, Teresa, and your kids, obviously Nick and Doug, obviously. Is it wild to see this? I mean, what was that like for you to have that honor for the university to, one, rename it the McDermott Family Center, but also just having your family there to have that experience together? Yeah,
it's an incredible honor. You should probably have to be dead to have that happen. And unless they know something that I don't know. I don't know. But, the Bill Scott and his wife, Ruth, have been, incredible supporters of our campus, of the athletic department, the Omaha community in general. Their generosity has impacted so many people in such a positive way over the course of many, many years. And, they held the naming rights, and Bruce Rasmussen and I were fighting with Bill for 10 years to try to convince him that we'd like the building named after him. We named the building across the street, the women's practice facility, the Ruth, after his wife. But unfortunately, Bill passed away on February, and he won the battle from his grave because the family wanted to make sure that it was done while Ruth was still here to see it happen. So an incredible honor, for our family. It was great to have, Nick and Doug and Sydney back for the ceremony and spend some time. And, it's pretty incredible. And, when I've been here a long time and I've enjoyed my time here, as you know, Matt. Omaha's a special place, and they've supported us in an incredible way. And, when Bill Scott speaks, people listen. So I had to fall in line whether I really thought I deserved it or not.
Yeah, it was funny watching the Eastern Conference Finals when I think it was Mike Breen who said it. Veteran Doug McDermott. Is it weird to hear that? I'm like, wait, I just talked to Doug when he was a junior at Ames High playing with Harrison Barnes. What do you mean veteran Doug McDermott? Is it wild that Doug's been in the league for as long as he's been in the NBA?
Yeah, I was able to get down for the opener in San Antonio in October. Victor's debut, and after it was a late game, I think 9:15 or 9:30 on national TV. So it was midnight or 12:30 by the time Doug got back to the house, and he poured a couple cocktails and we toasted. And I said, "What's this for?" He said, "I just made 10 years in the NBA. My pension's in place." So once I checked into that game, I was good.
Coach, I was told that by somebody going into the draft process. I remember having someone on my show who said Doug will play in the league for 10 years. I was like, really? And now we made 10 years. That's an accomplishment. That's an amazing for you. How proud are you at that?
Yeah, extremely proud. And, he's worked hard, and you really have to, it's almost a total reset of your game from what you're able to do as college to what they expect you to do in the pros. In the NBA, you're going to have 2 guys on every team that maybe are stars, all-star type players. And then everybody else is in some way is a role player, whether you're a starter or come off the bench, you're being asked to play a role on that team. And the guys that figure out that I'm going to try to be a champion in this role instead of buck the system and try to be something I'm not, those guys don't stay in the league very long. The guys that figure it out and all right, if they need me to space to the corner, I'll space to the corner. If they want me to fly off screens and shoot it, I'll fly off screens and shoot it. Those guys have a way of sticking around. And I think, Doug had a great mentor in Kyle Korver, who played in the league forever. Anthony Tolliver, who played at Creighton as well, that Doug got to know, found a way to carve out a long NBA career by just doing what he was asked to do and being ready when his number's called. And, now we'll see what happens in free agency. You're going into year 11, you're all of a sudden at 32, you're old. Will he, he's hopeful to get another contract and go help a team try to win a championship.
Coach Matt has been, he didn't drag me to the game to see you guys play here at UNLV, but I got all, Blue Jayed up and I was ready to go. He's been trying to get me to come back to Omaha. He's like, we got to go see a game. Can you describe the home environment? P-Roll, what is the game you want to go to?
Kansas.
He wants us to come back to the Kansas game, Coach.
That's an easy ticket.
See, I know. That's what I told him. Like, can we pick a game where we don't want to bother anybody? We can get in. But you guys back the house no matter what, right?
Matt was in Omaha. Whichever game he comes to, he's going to bother somebody. True. They know who he is here. So,
true.
It doesn't. You could bring him to the opener.
But Coach, they know who he is.
They know who he is.
But is that a good thing? Finding out this time in Iowa, they got pitchforks waiting for us when we come back to go to Iowa. Is this a good thing that they know?
The good news is they won't throw stuff at me. They'll throw it at him.
True. Very, very true. Although Creighton people, it's a friendly environment when I go see Creighton games. It's the Nebraska side of things that
it's a great environment. You would, Dave, you would love it. It's an NBA environment with college type fans. I think it's very similar to, Doug played in Oklahoma City for a cup of coffee for 30 games or so, and I got down a couple of those games. And Oklahoma City Thunder, I think they've stole some Oklahoma State fans and some Oklahoma fans, and it's a college environment there. And I think our arena is very similar to that. People are into the game, and it's an event. It's just not a game. They get downtown a couple hours early. They fill all the restaurants and bars, and then they close them after the game. So it's truly an event, and it makes a lot of fun. It's given us an incredible home court advantage.
Well, there's an event tonight. Baylor, Shireman, Trey Alexander, 2 of your former players are going to be eligible to be drafted tonight in the NBA draft. Baylor may go in the first round here tonight. Tonight's the first round. Tomorrow's the second round. How are those guys? What are the preparations they've been getting ready for this draft? And what are your expectations for both of them if they do get their name called?
I'm hopeful for both of them. Obviously, they both had tremendous careers for us. Trey being here 3 years and, part of, nearly beating Kansas in as a freshman the year they won the NCAA championship, and then a Sweet 16 and an Elite 8. And then Baylor the last 2 years has been, an awesome player for us and a great leader, and, touches the game in so many ways. So, the feedback I think has been relatively positive on both. Baylor really helped himself in the combine. Trey didn't have a great first game, but then played really well in the second game in the combine. And then the feedback from the workouts from the NBA teams has been positive. Good guys, about the right stuff, work hard, understand how to play. And now it's a fit. It's hard to be one of those 58 guys tonight worldwide that are going to get chosen to play in the NBA. And I'm trying to roll the dice, and I hope Baylor gets picked tonight. I hope Trey gets picked tonight too. And I don't have to go to Oklahoma City tomorrow because I'm celebrating from here with him and his family. But I'll be with Baylor tonight, and then myself and one of my staff members are going to jump on a plane and be with Trey tomorrow if his name doesn't get called tonight.
Awesome. Last one for me, sir. This conference you're in, it's a very good conference. And we get very excited every time you play. And Matt always gets excited leading into the tournament and all these other things. There's this one team that's just in this conference that just won't go away, and they just keep winning. What's the outlook, obviously, for you? But how do you beat those guys?
UConn.
You know who it is.
We did. Well, Dave, we did beat him the last time.
I know, and it was awesome. We talked about it. We showed it the next day. It was great. We were all very excited about it. But are you going to win the conference? We just want you to win the conference.
Oh, that's all, huh?
That's all.
That's it. Just win the conference. Please.
No, it's obviously Danny's done an unbelievable job. And, what he's doing to non-conference teams is ridiculous. And he did it most of the league this year as well. And he'll have a couple of guys that's names. You better wake up early because I think those are at 7:00. You better be ready because I think a couple of his guys could go off the board pretty quick. But they've developed a great culture, a championship culture, and then they found a way in the NCAA tournament. This is a team 3 years ago that got beat by New Mexico State in the first round, and they backed that up with back-to-back national championships, and they've reloaded again. So it's going to be a great league. There's a lot of really good teams. St. John's is reloaded. Xavier, I think, is much better. Get some of their frontline guys back. Butler returns everybody. Cooley's going to be better in his second year. Chris Holtman's at DePaul. We know what he does, how good a coach he is. Kim English has been great, right on down the line. There's good teams in this league, and it's going to be a challenge. But you've seen Big East teams have success in the postseason play, and I think that's due in large part that you see really everything during conference play, and it really prepares you for everything that you're going to see in NCAA tournament play. Our games are really physical. There's not a lot of fouls called in our league, and I think that allows us to be prepared for whatever we're going to see in tournament play.
We're getting in this, Coach. You at Northern Iowa, you at Iowa State, now at Creighton. You've been known for developing big men, and you get Ryan Kalkbrenner coming back for this year. He's going to be on everyone's watch list. But what do you want out of him this summer? What is he working on, and what does he have to improve upon, not just to help you guys next year and take you deeper into the tournament, but he wants to be a year from now, right now, having his name called in the first round?
Yeah, and I think, Matt, what happened is, Baylor Sharman made the decision last year not to go through the draft process. And he really took 5 or 6 days off, and he went to work with our strength coach and with my graduate assistants, getting in the gym, working on his game, developing his body and taking it to another level. And he was a totally different player at the start of this season because of what he was able to do in April, May, June, July, August, September. When you go through the draft process, you're preparing for different things. You're trying to have your body ready for a workout. So you're not lifting as much, maybe just maintenance work. And your workouts are very specific to what you're going to see in these NBA draft workouts. And you add to that all the travel and the wear and tear from traveling all over the country going to these workouts. When that ended at the end of May last year, Trey Alexander and Ryan Kalkbrenner, they were cooked. They were tired. And really, we gave them 3 weeks off. So now you're already to July 1st, and you really haven't gotten any better. And Baylor decided, you know what? I'm going to skip the draft process. I'm going to get better. I'm going to be ready for next year. And Kalkbrenner saw how he transformed his body and changed his game. And I think Ryan, working with his agent and talking with me, is like, all right, let's follow that same game plan. Like, Baylor went from someone that was probably a late second-round pick to undrafted last year to a first-round pick this year. And we're hopeful that, Kalk keeps shooting the threes. He's stronger. Amazingly, he came in at 227 as a freshman with a 29-inch vertical jump. Now he's 272 with a 34-inch vertical jump.
Wow.
So the dude puts on 45 pounds in 4 years and increases his vertical jump 5 inches. So people talk about my strength coach, Jeremy Anderson. He's a whisperer, man. He's really, really good, and he's done great. And I think he can help take Ryan to that next level.
Does Zack Edey tonight, is Ryan watching what Zack Edey, but him going back to school and doing what he did with Purdue? Is that the blueprint?
Yeah, I think that's part of it. Yeah. And, Klingon came back and I think it's really going to be important. Number one, I think Ryan's getting the shaft.
Okay.
Because he was in conversations to be picked in the 40s, early 50s last year. He had a better year than he's ever had statistically across the board. Big East Defensive Player of the Year again, finalist for National Defensive Player of the Year. And now he disappears off all the draft boards. And Donovan Klingon is a great player. Is he 60 picks better than Ryan Kalkbrenner? No. And Donovan's probably going to be picked in the top 5. And he's a great player and he deserves it. But Ryan Kalkbrenner is not far behind in terms of his skill set and how he impacts the game defensively. Because both of those guys, they block a lot of shots, they change a lot of shots, and there's so many shots that teams just don't take because they're there. And those two things are really hard to measure on a stat sheet.
Coach, thank you for the time. We can't wait to see you here in November. Congrats on the McDermott Family Center. Really, really cool honor for you and your family. Thank you for the time and coming on. Hopefully do it again soon, all right?
Yeah, and Matt, we really appreciate your offer to feed the team our first night in Vegas. Just let us know with.
I can help you with that.
Dave, all I want is Matt's credit card.
Oh,
you help me find a place. I want his credit card to take care of the team one night. It'll be his NIL contribution.
Perfect. I like it.
Oh boy, Coach, thank you. Enjoy.
Have a great day, guys.
You too. Have a great night. That's Coach Greg McDermott from Creighton University joining us here on the Boston Versus the Book. Awesome time. Awesome to get Coach on. Really appreciate his time today to talk. And hopefully it's a good night for the Jays. Hopefully it's Baylor getting his name called.
I'm rooting for it now. We got to have it now.
I'll be psyched for Baylor. I mean, to get it. And for Trey Alexander too. I mean, I think Baylor's just got the size, so we think he's more prototypical from a wing perspective in the NBA. Trey is he's more of a guy who can hit the mid-range game. So I think the team that's going to grab him will probably put him in the G League and try to have him develop a little bit more to his game. But Baylor could step right in and play for a team that needs a 3-point shooter, a stretcher of defenses. He's being projected for places like Denver and places along those lines.
I think he has, with his son, a perfect model for telling guys to come to school and learn everything.
Stay.
Because you're going to have to adapt. You're not going to be the same player you were in college in the pros. And they're going to ask you to do things you have no idea what it's going to be. And if you want to stay in the league, 10 years is a huge accomplishment to be a professional athlete in any league.
So Ken Miller, obviously, right? So yes. Ken and I had that person on our radio show in Des Moines. And this person said, a draft expert came on and said, Doug McDermott will play in the league for 10 years. And Ken and I were like, what? Like we were stunned by it. We were like, this is when he was going into his senior year of high school. This was the talk of like, he has the game if he grows.
College?
Yes. If he has the game, he grows. Look where the game is going. We were like, come on. So then he was supposed to go to Northern Iowa. Dana leaves. Greg goes to Creighton. Doug goes there. And the rest is history. He plays 4 years. He's the Naismith Player of the Year his senior year. He gets drafted.
He was great.
He is an incredible, number one scorer of all time. I mean, he was just an incredible athlete. And I mean, like one of the coolest things that happened was that, Coach took a player, his son, he said, you're either going to be the worst player or the best player. There's no in between. Like he had to be the best player on the court to be at that level going into the Big East Conference and being the focal point of a team where I think people would agree with this, that we didn't know what Coach McDermott was going to bring to Creighton University because he had a playbook that got him run out of Iowa State. That was this thick. It was huge. That's why Coach laughs, because I was extremely critical of him in Des Moines. And I just said, look, in the Big 12, having this big of a playbook, it's not a football team, Coach. It's not Northern Iowa. You're getting different type of players. And he brought in NBA talent. He had NBA caliber talent, but he just felt more comfortable going to be at the Creighton level, which at the time was the Missouri Valley Conference. And then they were elevating themselves up. They went to the Big East, and then the recruiting. The craziest thing about the way the Creighton Blue Jays recruit now is they have the number one recruiting class in the Big East coming in this year. They got 3 kids who are going to be outstanding athletes who are going to play as freshmen. You heard Coach say, we're going to play some freshmen. We're going to be unique. We're going to play the young kids. Kalkbrenner is going to be on the cover of every magazine, Dave.
Right.
He's going to be like the face of college basketball. Like he is a 7-foot center who's been in college for 5-6 years now. You just don't see that very often. in college. So
No.
I'm glad you guys enjoyed. I'm glad you guys enjoyed it. Thank you to Coach McDermott for coming on. That was a lot of fun. And then, that was cool with Rock. Yes, if you're in Iowa, folks, you love that to see him come in to be a part of it. And yes, I can't wait to see what happens. Yeah, 10 years in the league, and he averaged about 20 minutes a game, if not less. What does that matter? He's making at least the league minimum, which is $400,000 a year.
Listen, man, longevity means something. He got the pension. The
That's
pension
incredible. It is everything.
The pension is everything because you stop playing. I tell the kids this all the time. You got to think about what you're going to do when you're done playing, because the kids that I'm coaching is that you stop playing a lot earlier. But think about these guys that have played and got all these perks and put their effort in, and then they're done playing.
So AOWN, you've got to be somewhere around what? You're like 38, 37, somewhere in that range, because I was about 10 years older than Doug and Harrison when they were in high school. It wasn't. This is not true. You're rewriting history, my friend. It was not known that Doug was a D1 caliber talent. He was recruited by Northern Iowa because Ben Jacobson is best friends with his dad. When the Jays recruited him, when Dana Altman recruited, and it was more like, let's just take a look at it because our Valley rival has offered him. Northern Iowa gave him a full ride. Dana offered to gray shirt him, meaning Doug would have paid his own way.
Right.
Greg would have paid his own way the first year. Then they were going to put him on scholarship. And Doug was like, I'm going to Northern Iowa. Then Greg takes over. Dana goes to Oregon. They're playing here on November 26th against each other again after the rematch from the tournament game this past March. Then that's when Doug got the full ride to Creighton. And then after going to his senior year, the Jays go to the Big East, and then Doug goes and has the Naismith Player of the Year award. So he was only recruited by 3 or 4 schools. Like I remember Ken and I were going to games in Des Moines when Ames High was playing in Des Moines. They do like showcases, and some of the games were on TV. And Harrison Barnes was the number 1 recruit in the country. North Carolina, Duke, he could have gone and played anywhere he wanted to. I was in the gym at Ames High when Harrison Barnes declared for North Carolina. He did a Zoom call, one of the first ever Zoom calls. It didn't work. The internet didn't work. It was like my internet. Everything froze. Everything froze. So like it was all there. So like, I was watching it and going like, why isn't Doug being recruited more? I mean, you could make the case, okay, Harrison Barnes is great, but you could make the case that Doug has had as good of an NBA career as Harrison Barnes, and he was a lottery pick, and he went to North Carolina. So they're both still in the league. They've both been there 10 years.
Right. They
both bounced around to a variety of different teams, and they're both playing essentially the same role right now, which is a shooter off the bench.
Right.
But you get paid. I mean, you need it right now in today's NBA. You absolutely needed it. So Adam's a great question. Where would Doug have gone if Greg didn't get canned from Iowa State, by the way? He was going to be. He went to Creighton before that happened. He wasn't fired. He chose to leave. But there was writing on the wall that this could happen. And then, I've told the story before, but like I got a call from an associate athletic director from Creighton. I'm on a train going to Andover from Boston. My phone rings. I pick up the phone and they say, hey, Dana's going to Oregon. I was like, what? And I've been texting with Jeff Goodman, who said, hey, it sounds like Dana's going to leave to go to Oregon. And he'd already left to go to Arkansas, if you remember. And I'm texting with Jeff Goodman and I'm like, okay, so who's getting the job? And he's like, I'm still trying to effort that. And I got a phone call he said, hey, Dana's leaving. I was like, whoa, who would you hire if you were going to hire somebody? I said, Greg McDermott. He said, good, we just hired him. I was like, oh, okay. So that's how that whole thing went with, the Creighton University relationship that I've had now for the better part since 2007 when I moved there. And when Coach talks about the people of Omaha, it's not even, I can't say it enough. Omaha is about the people. It's a different place. It's a really, really cool place.
Going to have to go.
Yeah.
Now that we're, on first name basis, and they can reach out and say, we just need.
What do you think the bill would be if I had to pay for the entire Creighton basketball team to eat?
We better do some more shows, and we need sponsors. Please send an email to askthebvb@gmail.com. Help us pay for the Creighton basketball team. Doug's
made $74 million in his career. By the way, that's more than his dad by a ways.
Thank you, Licata. By the way, thank you for emailing the show. But
that's
Sam,
insane. Yes, I agree, Covey. Oregon's got no shot this year. Jays are going to ruin them. I agree. we'll get our final win finally. Dana's got a tough run of it here. And I love Coach Altman. I mean, don't get me wrong. Coach Altman started it all. Coach Altman, he was on my show every single week. I talked to Coach Altman for literally 3 years straight. Every single week I talked to Coach Altman. In the offseason too. We just had him on. It was just a constant, I played in golf tournaments with Coach. I played in golf tournament with Coach Altman and Kyle Korver. I know the Korvers, all the Korvers, know all the brothers.
I'd have to get him on the show next.
Dana?
Yeah.
God, Dana might be like, Matt, you're old. I remember when you were 20, I moved in 2007 and I was 26, 27 years old. Yeah. So, I was 20 years ago. So I was probably 25 or 30, 28, 29 in 2007. I got to do the math. So I'll be 30. Yeah. 77. I'd be 30 years old. Yeah. So Ashton Korver, don't ask me to do math on the fly. Ashton Korver, I've asked Korver to come on the show a couple of times because he now has a front office gig in the NBA. And so I'm still efforting to try to get Kyle on because I've had Kyle on for years. And I think it'll be really fun to talk to him about going into the front office after being such an incredible basketball mind. I mean, it's fun when he used to go back because when you go to the game, Dave, you'll see the media sits. It's like an NBA arena. You have the media and then the fans start. There's courtside seats. So Kyle would sit next to me when he came back. So it would be he would start. So I would sit next to Kyle and I got to know him really well and his brother Creighton really well. And they're all doing the Korvers are really cool people. So, that's wild. Autographed, framed UNC Harrison Barnes jersey.
How about that? And
that's cool. He was, I remember when he declared for North Carolina, they thought they'd won the national championship.
Yeah.
They went crazy because it was Duke. He was between Duke and North Carolina and he chose to go play for Roy Williams. Did they win the national championship?
Ask the chat.
I think they did, right?
I don't remember.
I think they did in his time at Carolina. I think Harrison Barnes did win because I think Harrison Barnes has won the NBA championship and he's won a college basketball championship. Thank you, Covey. Yes. So, yeah, they won. So it's pretty cool. It's a really cool story. So thank you to Coach Mack for being a part of this. That was awesome. Thanks to Alex Kane as well for being a part of the show today. This was awesome. The Olympics will begin.
The show just flew by. We're almost done.
Yeah, let's talk about this, though. And you kind of led into it a little bit with Coach about what's happening. But there's a big article out today about the NCAA and what's going on here for the NCAA.
Yeah, what is this?
With the future of college athletics uncertain, one thing is clear. An official and permanent split of the NCAA for D1 is coming. So it's unfair. I didn't ask this to Coach McDermott because it's unfair because it's above his pay grade. So he just, to him, he just goes and coaches and plays basketball. I'm a basketball coach. Let the administrators worry about the administration. So that's why I didn't ask him. But for a program like the Creighton University Blue Jays, for Big East programs that do not play football, for Villanova, everyone's so gaga for Villanova, right? They play low-level FCS football, not high-level. Programs like St. John's that do not have football. I don't know what happens to the Big East, David, this happens. Because it's a football split. It's not a basketball split.
I don't know either. It's definitely above my pay grade. I just know that it's going to mess it up.
Everything.
It's not going to make it better.
No.
I just want to, at this point, what are we doing to stuff to make it better? We're adding teams to the college basketball tournament. That ain't making it better. It's not. And now this, I clicked this article and I was aggravated. I was like, what? Nothing is the same. And that's okay. Change is okay if it's for the better, for something. I don't see any positive in it.
The positive is the pockets of those in charge.
Yeah.
This is about money.
Great.
I found it interesting that Coach McDermott said, we're there to play basketball. I'll worry about the NIL stuff later. Come in here. It's $1 million per team. It's a lot of money.
He said so many things. I can't wait to go back and watch because I'm trying to pay attention and listen and make sure I ask a good follow-up question, all this other stuff. But at one point he said, we've created free agency every year. We can't even build a culture team, maintain it. All the stuff he was saying was because of NIL.
Well, he said it too.
Playing this tournament for money.
And he said, you're not going to see freshmen play very much. We're bucking the trend this year. We're going to play freshmen, but you're not going to see freshmen play very much in college basketball.
No.
Now that's tough because if that were to happen, here's what you get. If we split, right, and we have lower level and higher level, guess where the kids start? They start at the lower level.
Correct.
and then they transfer up.
And they leave.
That's a minor league. Now we're going to have a minor league inside of college basketball. Like, that's weird to think that, like, I'm going to go play basketball in the Horizon League. I'm going to go to, take your pick Horizon League team. And then I'm going to go and play from like there to the Big Ten. I'm going to go play for like Wright State. And then I'm going to go play for Michigan State.
But you can do that. What if it doesn't work out?
For whom?
You go for the kid. The kid leaves to go play. Well, has great success in Horizon League, goes to Kansas State and sits on the bench, is in the second rotation, maybe.
Right.
Do they then leave there and go somewhere else? Like, nobody's staying to help build a team. It's tough. It's tough for the coaches. It's tough for the school. And I feel like it's all become like travel ball, where you just pay to play, you get paid to play, and you go wherever it is. I don't know. It's losing its actual reason for the sport. I don't know. Makes being good year after year after year really good.
Do you agree with that comment that mid-majors are essentially a minor league now?
AOWN. Mid-majors are essentially a minor league for the power conference teams already. They weren't when there was inability to just leave. They are now. They are now. You can do that. I'm going to the transfer portal. The coaches are using it as that too. The coaches at the mid-majors are going, you should go. You should go get in the transfer portal because you ain't never going to play here. They're telling them that.
And I think that there's an issue like what the new Texas baseball coach did today, leaving A&M, lying about, I'm not leaving, I'm an Aggie for life.
On Monday.
Yeah. And then this morning.
He said it before game 3, the decider.
Right. And he said this morning at the introductory press conference in Austin, he apologized to the reporter, called him a young reporter from Texas Ags, the site that the guy works for. I don't know why being young matters, but he said, in the moment, I was all about my players. In the moment, I felt that. Like, no, you didn't, dude. You were talking to Texas at the same time. You knew you were going there. You had agreed to the deal before you ever went to the College World Series championship game. You were leaving for Texas. It leaked out that you had agreed to go to Texas. You were confronted with it. You were asked and you lied. So this is what makes kids go, wait a minute. So a coach can just straight up lie, have no repercussions, and get a bigger job with more money. I'm getting mine. You guys are all charlatans and liars. I'm getting mine. And I don't blame the kids when they see a situation like this. When adults show their lack of integrity and they show their character, why would you believe a single thing a coach tells you ever? I wouldn't.
I agree. Like, it's very tough. I mean, I'm around kids that are trying to go to college and all this other stuff. And I'm literally, the coach is like, let me talk to the kid by themselves. And I'm like, I'm going to hang out for the first conversation. I want to hear what you're saying. So when they call me and say, coach said this, coach said that, coach, I heard it myself, so I can help you. Talking to a 17, 18-year-old kid and saying and doing all this other stuff, you can say whatever you want. And then you can say, well, I didn't say that. Later when you get there and they say, I didn't say you got the dorm money. I didn't say you were going to get your books paid for, blah, blah, blah. Like, it's all, you can say whatever. Hold on. I couldn't believe it. I was with Jess last night at dinner. I said, this guy took this job. It's Tuesday. They just played in the game on Monday. I saw him say, I love it here. This is why I took this
Aggie
job.
For life. I'm an Aggie for life. He said it. Yep.
And I go, he took the Texas job. He already knew he had the Texas job. It didn't happen Monday night. Would have been more awkward if he won.
And they're conference rivals now. I mean, not only
wish they would have won.
Agreed.
Congratulations. I'm smiling for all the pictures, immortal forever.
I'm going to Texas.
A&M. Aggie for life. We're the champs.
And then I'm out the door.
I'm a Longhorn.
Yep. I'm going to Texas. I'm going to the program that's entering the SEC. I'm leaving the SEC to join it's the biggest like little brother, big brother move I've seen in a long time. I mean, that you want to talk about, we're going into your conference. We're going to take your coach that just went to the College World Series because we're coming into the SEC. So we're taking you. Thank you. Come here. Come on up from College Station. Come to Austin. Thank you very much.
That's an ultimate FU.
Oh, 100%. And he bought it. I mean, the guy took it. The guy bought it and took it. And he could have just said, hey, I don't want to talk about it. Yeah, Aggie fans should be losing it. I mean, they're furious. I would be furious too. I mean, it's a straight lie to sit there and say that publicly when you knew what was going on. You could have said something else like, we'll deal with after the year. Right now, I am focused on A&M. I'm focused on my players. Whatever happens afterwards, we'll deal with that later. Not what he said. I'm an Aggie for life. Okay, they bought that. They believed you, and you were lying.
Let's go, team.
Yeah, it really, really shows your character and your integrity, lack thereof integrity. For you guys who are with us live on YouTube and Twitter, do not move. We got more coming at you with bonus time. If you're with us on SiriusXM or on SportsGrid, thank you for being here. This was a great show. Hopefully you guys who enjoyed it. Thanks to Alex Kane of SportTrade, and head coach Greg McDermott of Creighton University. That was a lot of fun. More to come for you guys who were live in what we call bonus time.
I mean, do you think D Stout's wife is still sleeping after all that?
Yeah, we'll leave her alone today. There's nothing really all that great in terms of
There's nothing all that great
for football. I was looking. There's nothing all that great for football for NFL.
We have something great every day.
We
alert people that there's football coming.
Correct. Are you telling me you want me to play the stinger? Hopefully we didn't wake her up.
Mrs. Stout, I hope you're still sleeping. We just had to do it. We have a streak like Cal Ripken.
Thank you, Edison. It's nice of you.
Thank you, Edison.
Appreciate that.
You,
that's
trying
nice
our best. Keep telling people. You guys keep telling people.
One story and then better to book it. The Olympics start officially in 30 days from today. What's the betting handle going to look like? Because everyone got mad at me yesterday when I said July sucks. There's nothing going on. Everyone was like, but the Olympics. You're forgetting about the Olympics. I'm like, I'm forgetting about what?
What?
Forgetting about the Olympics. What are you talking about? I'll watch it, but like
Stout 19's wife is awake.
Okay, good.
She likes the stinger.
Woke up before the stinger. There we go. Good job.
All right. What does the handle look like? What handle?
Thank you.
It's a fun thing to have on in the book all day. Nobody's betting on the diving. Nobody's betting on the swimming.
Are there even
track
lines?
And field is fun.
Are there lines out for it?
There are books that are taking stabs at the lines. Yes. The basketball, we always put up. We always put up the basketball. Like last time there was Olympics. Was that the Olympics? We were doing softball. We were talking about softball lines and we were betting it. And there was a little bit of buzz and handle. Baseball, there was, you put it up. Team sports, you can attempt to put it up. The handle is like, I don't know. Just to use an example, nothing personal, Miami and the Marlins and the Kansas City Royals today. Probably not a real big handle game. Yes, the Royals won. JC from KC, it's a good game for them. They're not back yet, but they're back today. The Olympics, it's a tough sell.
It's a tough sell for me. Everyone's like, you're going to bet it? I'm going to bet what? What am I betting?
This house is big with the gymnastics.
To bet?
Like that. No, this house.
Just to watch it. I don't know, just to watch it. Like,
watch. Yeah.
I'll watch it. I'll watch the sports. I think it's neat to watch human I marvel at their ability. I watch the 100. I'll watch the 400 hurdles. I'll go, I remember that race. That race fucking sucked. I hated that race.
Do you have a favorite Olympic event to watch?
My favorite
Summer Olympics?
Individual or team?
Either or both.
I mean, Team USA for men's basketball is a ball to watch. It's fun to watch. Yeah, that's fun to watch. Watch us just annihilate everybody. That's fun. So I obviously watch it but for individual sports from a summer perspective, I really like watching the javelin because those are sports that I did. I was a triple jump, long jump, high jump, and javelin is what I did in high school. So I like watching javelin, watching these guys, how far they throw it and like, go, my God, that's incredible. So I like watching the track and field sports a lot from individuals.
Like, does swimming do it for you?
It's okay. I mean, one of the coolest things I've ever been to in my top 10 sporting events I've ever attended, the Olympic trials in Omaha was unbelievable.
Okay.
I mean, everyone's marveling at Lucas Oil, but Omaha did that first. The Quest Center, now Chi Center, that's how they learned they could flip Lucas Oil into a swimming venue, because they flipped Omaha into a swimming. So for back-to-back Olympics, I was covering it and watching it and marveling at it, going like, this is amazing. And watching how fast they are in the water is ridiculous. Like I saw Michael Phelps swim in person. Like, it's not normal.
It looks way different. Yeah,
he's a shark. Like, he's not a human being. Like, he's a damn
cutting
shark
through the water, not swimming. Like cutting.
Yeah,
literally cutting.
Him swimming fly and him swimming butterfly and freestyle. Forget it. Just forget it. Like, yeah, Ledecky just, I don't know if you saw that video of Ledecky. She won her heat by 20 seconds.
Incredible.
Like, she had to wait.
That one got Grandma up over here. Grandma came running over and said, "Did you see that, Ledecky?" What?
Insane.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane.
So put your favorite Olympic event, guys, if you're watching the show, girls, if you're watching the show. I'm just curious what the chat will say. D Stout's wife had a very good question, and we love when the wives watch or the girlfriends watch and get involved. She just asked, do you think the NBA draft draws more viewership than the WNBA draft? What do you all think?
100%.
This WNBA draft was massive.
Hold on, this past WNBA draft or every
last WNBA draft with Caitlin Clark and everything, like,
so
Angel,
okay, so we're saying, so we're comparing year to year, WNBA draft this past year to NBA draft this year, right?
Yeah.
Because historically, it's not even a conversation. It's a massive mismatch. This year, the WNBA will beat this draft.
I think so.
It will beat this draft.
That's a great question.
No debate in my mind. Yes, 100%. They will beat.
Yes.
The WNBA has way more interest as to where was Angel Reese going to go. You know, where was Cameron Brink going to go? We knew Caitlin Clark was going first. Right. We already knew that, but like, just watching the
rest,
having her do that.
It was the rest too was interesting. Like, it was going, I don't know. I watched it. I never watched it before. I watched it when she was going to be drafted.
Right.
Great call. Nathan Phillips, table tennis. I love watching the ping pong in the Olympics. It's fantastic.
You can have that.
The 4x100 relay, good.
That's fun. Yeah. All the sprinting events are really fun to watch. Yeah, those are cool. Yeah. Time for better to book. Two quick ones for you. Guardians on the run line +1.5 today.
+1.5 must be Carrasco.
They've Carrasco and they've won 7 straight games.
Yeah, what are we doing? They're minus. The Orioles are -220.
Huh. They've lost 5 games in a row. Orioles have lost 5 games in a row.
Yeah.
So I took +1.5 runs, and it's probably get a better price now. It's that high.
Bet it.
How about you like money line?
Money line, absolutely, Covey. Take a nice plus. Ride the streak until they lose. You get this. You get involved now. It ain't bad. You should have been involved already, but +1.5 is a very. I think that's a good bet. Yes. Bet.
And I always love when I get up in the morning, and I open up my DMs.
Pause. You love when you get up in the morning.
Yeah, I wake up in the morning.
Wake up! Wake up!
Luckily, that still happens for me, so that's a good thing. At 47, everything still works. So until that doesn't happen, it still works in the morning. Luckily, at 47, so it still works. But I get up in the morning, wake up in the morning.
Yes.
Oh, I'm open my DM.
Oh,
and almost at least once a week, sometimes more than once a week. I'll get the. Oh, I don't know about that play, Matt. I don't know about that bet, Matt. I'd be careful with that bet if I were you, Matt. I need to start. I said on Twitter today, I need to start keeping track of this because I believe my hit rate is somewhere around 80% when somebody sends me a DM to question a bet.
Oh,
when I get the DM that says, I love that bet. That bet's awesome.
Big trouble.
80% loser.
Big trouble.
Tom Kim over Cam Young, 4-round bet in the Rocket Mortgage.
You did a golf matchup?
Yeah, 4 rounds. I love doing golf matchups. It's only I bet golf matchups way more than anything else. I don't do outrights. It's too difficult.
This is how you know, boys and girls, we're on vacation week, and Matt is looking for stuff to bet.
Oh.
He goes deep here, gets up, all right, gets jacking up and down over a golf matchup. I actually like this one. I think Tom Kim plays very well this week after what he did.
Yeah.
I think he carries over. Are you worried about the juice here? This is
no, because it's 4 rounds. It is, but it's 4 rounds. So it's a 4-day. It's a 4-day bet. That's why I bet it. It's a 4-day price. So and look, people get very agitated. Answer me this question because this will help me. Why do different books put up different matchups in golf?
Oh,
because this bet is at the Superbook. Okay. This bet is not at DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars. This is a Superbook bet. So I played it at the Superbook, and it's legal in 11 states, I believe now. The Superbook is out to 11 states, but it's not out to 50 states. And people get very upset. They're like, oh, I couldn't find this. I'm so mad. Why did you make that play? I couldn't find this matchup. I'm like, well, I can bet it. I'm hoping you can bet it, but I'm just telling you the whole point of the Juice podcast is I just tell you what I bet. You do what the fuck you want with it.
Right.
So why do they do matchups differently?
Some books have golf guys that like to do their own matchups and do their own numbers.
Okay.
It's easy to copy everybody's number and be at market price, and it's a lot harder. And some books may have guys that are bonused on winning, so they put up their own matchups that they feel confident with their own numbers, and there's nothing to compare them to. So if we run the book and I'm giving you 5% of the win of golf, you're going to put up your own numbers. You're going to put up your own matchups. You don't need to copy anyone else's because now it's incentivized. So you'll see some books. I loved it when we did it, but it always caused a problem. Somebody would call and say, this is not available. And it's not. Yeah.
Sorry.
That's fine.
Go find a different book who has it. Favorite thing about today is what?
Hats, baby. Hats. Woke up this morning to a picture of SoCal DGen and his hat, a Vegas Golden Knights model. We matched the colors best we could. He sent in his size. I got him a fitted. He wanted that. And then Lewis, Rainmaker Lou on the Twitter. Sweet Lou from the 412. You guys know him in here. You've seen him.
Did you see that picture of his buddy? You see that Dolphins outfit?
The fit that's G Lou, his buddy G Lou.
That fit is
watches the show.
And I fucking hate the Dolphins. So
the whole thing was crispy, clean, whatever words you want to use, kids use. But the hat thing, the pictures, it brings me great joy to know, one, they got there, but two, they like them, they fit, they're going to wear them, they're going to tell people about it. Email the show, askthebvb@gmail.com. You can even email the proxy. It'll get back to me that way. Send a text to the text line 702-570-TALK. 8255 is the last 4 digits. I love the hats. I loved it all.
2 things on the way out. One, a quote that I saw this morning that I absolutely loved. It said, everybody is sore. Everybody is tired. Everybody has an excuse. Don't be everybody.
Love it. It's too big for the whole t-shirt, but we can put it on billboards or hats or something. Maybe I could get that printed small. BVB, do it. Don't be everybody.
Don't be everybody. I love that today. And then thank you to Alex Kane and SportTrade for sponsoring Whale Watch Wednesday. And thank you to Greg McDermott for taking time out of his busy schedule to join us his first time. So we've had Lutz, we've had Mac. So we need to have Dana, DeVries at Drake, who now actually he left Drake. He went to, where'd he go? Oklahoma? Where'd he go? Where'd D-Rock go? Shoot, I forget. Covey, where'd D-Rock go? I forget where he went. Dang it, my brain's not working. But DeVries, we need to get Darren DeVries. We need to get Dana Altman.
Who did we have on from Colorado State?
That was Ali Farouk Manesh. He was the assistant coach, not the head coach.
Okay.
Ali Play was a player. Did he go to
Colorado State?
Ooh, he may have gone there. Where did D-Rock? Let's see.
I don't know.
I can find it really fast. Darren DeVries is now the new head basketball coach at. I thought he left Drake, right? Oh, West Virginia. That's right.
Oh,
he's at West Virginia. I forgot. Yeah, he went to West Virginia. Yeah.
That's easy.
Yeah, so we'll get him. So we'll get D-Rock on for West Virginia, and then we'll get T.J. Otzelberger from Iowa State. So those are the next guys that we'll get on. We'll try to effort them, see them this summer to get some college basketball coaches on to have conversations about what's happening as we head into it. It's way easier to get these guys during the summer than it is during in season. Way more difficult. So thank you for being here, guys. This was a super fun show. Really, really good stuff. I love this on a Wednesday to have all this going on. Like button, subscribe button, tell someone about this show, leave a comment, leave a message, whatever you guys can do. And we'll get back to you tomorrow for a Thursday's Bostonian versus the Book.
Buccos.